The ultimate search and rescue helicopter. If I were floating in the North Sea, this is definitely the helicopter I would want coming to look for me. It's such a sleek, impressive aircraft. But can a team move this $20 million 8-ton machine nearly 3,500 miles across the Atlantic without actually flying it? This operation will test not only the team but also the helicopter itself. They'll have to battle creaking cranes. Well, it's coming out. Do you guys have it? Do you? Come on. And face an extremely tight squeeze. If you look up, you can see the clearance. It's not much. One huge helicopter, one team, one mission to move it. Tons of trouble that will test the nerves of everyone daring enough to do monster moves. The Shetland Islands, one of the harshest and most remote wilderness areas in the British Isles. The Highlands and Islands of Scotland attract thousands of outdoor adventurers every year, but the unpredictable conditions here can catch many by surprise. It can be a nice sunny day, and then, within a short space of time, it can be blowing hard. Visibility can drop. It can be raining, or even snowing. You can expect snow in the mountains virtually any month of the year. Ben Clark is Chief Search and Rescue Pilot at Bristow Helicopters. In just 15 weeks, his company will take over Coast Guard search and rescue coverage for the Shetland Islands. Having flown for 12 years in the Outer Hebrides and over the North Sea, Ben and his experienced team know all too well what lies ahead. Flying in a search and rescue aircraft is one of the ultimate team experiences. Everybody has to watch out for each other. We can be asked to find survivors in huge seas under extremely strong winds. The thrill of finding someone who's missing in those conditions. I can only describe it as pure elation. I've been on jobs where we've had 80-foot waves. Your heart is pounding, adrenaline surges, and it's all about controlling that rush. It's probably one of the most, if not the most, demanding role you could put a helicopter in, so we spent a lot of time looking for the best helicopter available. To give Ben's crew the best possible chance in the skies, his company has ordered a brand new fleet of 2 Sikorsky S92 helicopters, the ultimate search and rescue machines. Each aircraft costs a staggering $20 million, and they are built at a state-of-the-art factory in Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Today, Ben has come to meet Sikorsky test pilot Mark Bergamo and take delivery of Golf Bravo, which is rolling off the production line. Okay, Ben. Here's your brand new Sikorsky S92, fully equipped for the missions you'll be flying in the North Sea. With a top speed of 190 miles per hour and an all-weather range of 7 to 75 nautical miles, the S92 is every Coast Guard operator's dream. It's outfitted with dual autopilots and dual stabilization systems for redundancy. Should one system fail, the other ensures the aircraft can still bring everyone home safely. Ben's crew in Shetland often faces horrendous flight conditions, mountainous seas, gale-force winds, and zero visibility, hundreds of miles from the nearest land. The S92 addresses those challenges with a range of indispensable features: auxiliary fuel tanks that increase its flight range by 50%, a de-icing system for its rotors, allowing flight in freezing conditions that would ground many other helicopters, and advanced cockpit technology like night vision goggles and thermal imaging. When I started flying search and rescue missions, we weren't always lucky enough to have an aircraft with these capabilities. Now, we can fly search patterns over the ocean entirely on autopilot. It's an incredibly capable helicopter. Sikorsky has an impressive pedigree. Its engineers built the world's first helicopter, as well as legendary models like the S-61 Sea King and the Black Hawk. Now that Golf Bravo is assembled, it must make a marathon journey of over 3,300 miles to reach Ben's base at Sumburgh in the Shetland Isles. Flying the helicopter itself that far isn't feasible, and the trip by sea would take too long. Instead, the plan is to ship it inside the world's largest production cargo aircraft, the Antonov An-124. We need this aircraft back in the UK as quickly as possible so we can start training and be ready to save lives from day one. Before leaving American soil, Sikorsky must run final tests, including a full functional check flight and a rigorous hover test. If any components are out of alignment, the aircraft won't leave the ground. Fortunately, Mark gives the S-92 his seal of approval. We've done a complete test flight. Everything looks good. I'm very pleased. It's nice and smooth, a beautiful aircraft. In Pennsylvania, Mark flies the helicopter 141 miles from Coatesville to Stewart International Airport in upstate New York, where it will rendezvous with the Antonov. Meanwhile, a crack team of engineers led by Dan Lee is getting ready for a wrap and pack job, making the helicopter safe for transport. Most of the time, we polish and prep choppers for billionaires, but this time, we've got a $30 million search and rescue aircraft, and each of its 4 main rotor blades is worth $500,000. Put them all in a crate, and that's a $2 million box. Nothing we can't handle, though. After a smooth 45-minute flight, the S92 touches down. At 3 p.m., the Antonov An-124 arrives, and there's a tight deadline to load everything by 8 p.m. or face hefty fines. The Antonov, a Cold War-era giant, can lift and carry tremendous loads thanks to its 4 engines and cavernous interior. Its 6-person crew lives like nomads, constantly traveling the globe. The Russians know their aircraft just as well as Dan's American team knows the helicopter. To fit the S-92 into the Antonov's hold, they have to remove each 17-meter rotor blade, worth £500,000 apiece. They handle them with extreme caution, positioning a crane to support each blade so pins can be removed safely. Even the slightest dent or twist could affect the aircraft's aerodynamics. The blades, tail rotor, and sensitive radio receivers all must be removed in the same careful way. Nothing we do here is taken lightly. It's all about smoothness and teamwork. In the plane's nose, the Antonov's floor can kneel to form a ramp, but there will still be only 6 inches of clearance when they haul the helicopter inside. Once it's in place, everything is locked down with 20 ultra-strong chains, twice what the Antonov's loadmaster usually uses, but Dan's not taking chances. By 8 p.m., the loading is finally complete, and the Antonov is ready for takeoff. Next stop, Scotland. At Bristow Helicopters in Aberdeen, Ben's team eagerly awaits. The plan is for the S-92 to land at Prestwick Airport, just outside Glasgow, before making its final hop north. Sure enough, 6 hours later, the Antonov touches down. Bob Herbert and his crew carefully reverse the loading process and methodically reattach the blades, tail rotor, and other components. Coast Guard pilot Glenn Oldbury then performs a ground check, powering up the helicopter's 2 2,500-horsepower engines. The rotor tips spin at 600 miles per hour, and any misalignment could cause severe vibrations. Everything runs perfectly. It was excellent. No unusual vibrations. It's smooth, and that's exactly what we want. With just one detail left, making sure the crew has enough chocolate biscuits for the final flight, Golf Bravo lifts off for a short hop to Inverness, arriving safely on British soil for the first time. A few weeks later, at a Coast Guard training base in Inverness, Ben's team takes the helm of the new S-92. They have intensive sessions to familiarize themselves with the new flight systems and winch gear. We're not only testing ourselves, but also the aircraft. We want to make sure it'll perform in any weather. Today's drill simulates rescuing a stranded crewman from an oil tanker. Winchman Gary Forsyth relies on precise communication with the pilots and the hoist operator, Smiler Grinney, to avoid smashing into the ship's hull. It's a textbook maneuver. Flying the S-92 in search and rescue is probably one of the most challenging things you can do in a helicopter. Each mission is different, but saving someone in these conditions is the best feeling in the world. 2 months later, Golf Bravo and her crew become fully operational. In the Shetland Islands alone, they're already averaging about 10 rescue missions. It's been a baptism of fire, but the aircraft has performed brilliantly. Everyone's enjoying it, and it's a big step up from what we've had before. To stay sharp, the team trains every day. Today, they're working with the local Coast Guard rescue volunteers, practicing an 80-foot winch from a beach below. Soon after, a real call comes in. A fishing vessel with 3 crew has capsized. The S-92 locates them and helps bring them safely on board a nearby ferry. It's a maritime community out here, and they rely on this helicopter in the darkest winters. Hearing that helicopter come in really raises morale. It's a very good feeling.